Hi, in this video we will learn about how intermittent fasting is an anti-aging process. Why intermittent fasting is the anti-aging. So let's begin to understand with the specific reason. We will understand generally a lot of reason, but we will just understand about the general reason. So number one thing is that when you will not eat, the inflammation will be decreased because less digestion as well as the microbes will not enter in your body more. So in this way, the immune response will be not possible. So that is why this is the one reason. And on the other hand, also the anti-aging, the fasting is due to the itself is basically healthy process. And in this way, basically, when you will not eat, your body, which that will be go into the starvation mode, and your even each cell will be under the starvation. So the DNA repairing will be improved due to the basically is the due to the starvation and not proliferation of the cell, not growth factor, which that is too much able to proliferate the cell or divide the cell. So cell will go in the rest and the DNA will be repaired. If the too much DNA is damaged, so that it can the chances of the cancer is more, will lead to decrease when we will go into the fasting, because the higher number of mismatch repair will be possible. But the mismatch, if too much, so the cell will go into the apoptotic stage, the programmed cell death. This is the due to the basically intermittent fasting, and cell will not eat food too much. So in this way, basically nutrient deprivation, the nutrient negligibility will lead to basically, which that will lead to healthy, and in this way the apoptosis will be occur. And this is the programmed cell death, which that will lead to give more healthy new tissue. For example, your skin, if the apoptosis will be more, so the regeneration of the new cell possibility will be more. So in this way, the new cell of your skin will be generate, and in this way the skin will be glow, and skin will more protective against the pathogen and against the disease. And a lot of disease which that will decrease, like type 2 diabetes. So in this, the type 2 diabetes is due to the overeating, chronic eating habit, and the more sugar eating. So when you will restrict the diet, your diabetic activity, your diabetes mellitus type 2 will be decreased easily. And that is why it will be anti-aging, because after 40 years the diabetes mellitus type 2 chances will be more. And that is why, if the genetic problem, so ultimately easy to attack that type 2 diabetes. That is why in this way the obesity will be decreased when you will lose your fat. That is why that fat is used for the gluconeogenesis, as well as the glucose production and consumption of the glucose, and the gluconeogenesis, as well as the fatty oxidation, the basically the fatty acid beta oxidation will more. And in this way, the using of that reserve, that fat will be possible. And in this way, ultimately basically is the ketogenesis will be occur, and in this way the ketones will be used in your brain and everything, so as an energy source. And your protein, what will you think about the protein? So protein as a reserve, so the protein will store in the muscle, bones, and in your brain, everywhere. And the fat also, because fat basically is the part of plasma membrane. So the development of the plasma membrane, it means the cell will grow more, but the protective mechanism, through protection, not too much. For example, the repairing of the DNA will be occur. On the other hand, the important thing is that a lot of beneficial effect for the cell growth and cell development, and due to the higher number of cholesterol content in your body, higher amount of cholesterol, which that will be used for the several function, for several purposes. So that is the reason why, that is basically the intermittent fasting is more beneficial and anti-aging. Let's go further on and understand more for anti-aging about the intermittent fasting. When you will restrict the diet, so the insulin will be decreased. When insulin will be decreased, the alternate hormone against the insulin is the growth hormone. Growth hormone will be increased. That is why when growth hormone will increase, will target to the bones, target to the tissues, target to the your muscles and grow your muscle. The proteogenesis will be occur. Synthesis of actin and myosin for muscle growth. That is the reason, and that is why your protein synthesis, retention of your muscles, density of your bones, as well as other your immune system will be function more. That is why the growth hormone will more work due to the intermittent fasting. But in the case of less intermittent fasting, when you will eat chronically, so when you will eat chronically, intermittent fasting will not occur and the insulin will produce. Insulin is the anabolic, but it will store the sugar into the glycogen, but the excessive sugar will be stored in the fat. When adipose tissue will increase of the adipose tissue due to the spike of insulin will not use as a cholesterol, as a synthesis of other things like plasma membrane, and that is why the problem which that will lead to cause aging, so will not occur the longevity, and the anti-aging effect will be decreased 100%. Let's begin to understand further on the basically when you will go into the fasting mode, starvation mode, so your lipolysis will be occur, the adipose tissue degradation, adipose tissue will go into the into the blood circulatory system, so the hyperlipidemia will occur, but it is not a problem, it is normal, not problem, because the degradation of the degradation of the lipids will be more, will convert into the cholesterol, and that cholesterol go into the liver. Basically even the synthesis in the liver, the cholesterol is synthesized in the liver, but in the liver the cholesterol will be synthesized from the fat which that is stored in our body, which that degrade, and that cholesterol will go into the testes for the male, and if for female they go into the ovaries and synthesis of the estrogen, progesterone. But for human, but for men, the testosterone will be produced. When testosterone will be produced, it means when the testosterone will be produced, it means the synthesis of the protein will be more, because testosterone is responsible for the masculine appearance. So that phenotype from the genotype, basically the testosterone will be target our DNA to synthesis that protein which that is important for male, like muscles, beard, hairs on chest, hair on your body, and deep voice. So everything, it means the character of your feminine or masculine due to the intermittent fasting, and that feminism or masculinism basically retain. And in this way, for example, if you think about that, what is the benefit about more density of bones, more masculine, and more look like a female or male? That is the reason whenever you will feel that basically when you will look more younger, it means the anti-aging process. That is why when you will look more muscular, that is the anti-aging appearance which that is showing in your body. So that is important things. It means the cholesterol will be synthesized more, so that is why the longevity will be possible, and the basically anti-aging process will be run more. That is why if you will go on and further on and go more intermittent fasting, so the ketogenesis will be triggered through a fat will be converted into the ketones, is known as ketogenesis. When ketogenesis will be occur, so that ketones will be used as an energy source. What's the energy? What is the meaning? Glucose is already there, but why glucose is not good? as compared to the ketone. Let's think about that. Basically, the uh, sugar is the bigger molecule, contain 6 carbon, so it means the heavier, and the cell is not used easily as compared to the, because for example glucose will convert into, go into the glycolysis and Krebs cycle, and that is why the synthesis of the ATP. But the ketones directly without glycolysis, because glycolysis is used for the glucose, so without glucose, without basically go into the glycolysis anaerobic respiration, it is used as a energy through Krebs cycle and electron transport chain. That is the long process. I am just understanding to you with the generally the specific things about that. So that is why basically if you think about that, basically the intermittent fasting will decrease the aging and anti-aging effect. So that is the major problem. Basically when we will not intermittent fasting, so the problem will arise like disease. A lot of disease is due to the inflammation. So the number one thing is that inflammation will decrease due to the less eating habit and the starvation mode, which that will lead to apoptosis, which that is a lot of knowledge in my channel. You can learn about that, and that is why the possibility will be increased for the anti-aging due to the intermittent fasting. So I hope you make sense about that. It is the general overview, and I have understanding to you. The basically is the generally. So basically, I hope you make sense about that. The intermittent fasting is very important for longevity and increase the longevity gene expression. Why? Because basically inflammation is the reason which that will cause the, and the insulin spike basically, and the cholesterol will be not used and store into the fat. So in this way, arteriosclerosis will be decreased, arteriosclerosis will be decreased, the diabetes mellitus type 2 will be decreased, autoimmune disorder will be decreased, inflammation will be decreased. So a lot of disease will be clear due to the intermittent fasting. So let's do the intermittent fasting easily and know it more and save money rather than using the money for food eating more. So intermittent fasting does not require too much food like heavy protein, etc. Little amount of food is best for you. Thanks for watching. Bye for this time.